Welcome to This Week in Tiger Athletics. I'm your host, Haley White, and joining me today is Hayden Kreutzer, a defensive back from here in Hayes. He had 10 tackles in the 19-3 win over Emporia State on Saturday night for FHSU's homecoming. He's the fifth on the team with 38 total tackles this season, and he also has 2 interceptions. First off, congratulations on that win Saturday night. That was a big victory, not only since it was homecoming, but from the standpoint of keeping things rolling throughout the rest of this season.
Oh yeah, keeping this momentum rolling and just game after game. Yeah, no, that's a big win. That's a really good football team, and for the past 3 weeks we've had really good football teams. And you know, we just keep coming, doing our job, coming to practice every day prepared, and knowing every week is going to be difficult. Then I mean, we really step on the field with a mindset like it's going to be a 4-quarter battle.
And you finished with 10 tackles in that win. Most importantly, the team only allowed Emporia State to gain 276 yards on offense. How big was that defensive effort Saturday night?
Yeah, we knew how to win the ball game early. I mean, come out early, come out firing, and you know, stopping them on first downs was huge. And I mean, just keeping this momentum rolling. I mean, it's really helping our team out. What
did the coaching staff say prior to that matchup to get the defense going?
We've just really focused on this whole year. We're just doing our jobs, like every single person doing their jobs, and every person fits in the scheme of our defense in a different way. And as long as they're doing their 1/11th, they're doing their part on the defense, and everyone doing their job, it's really special when you see everyone doing their job, and that's what's really been helping us succeed this year.
And you've been a part of the 2 most successful teams in this program history. How tough was it to start off 0-2?
Yeah, that's really a kick in the teeth. You know, we had our backs against the wall, and we've had our backs against the wall before, and we knew coming out that we're going to face hard teams every single week, and I mean, we have hard games ahead of us in the schedule, and really knowing like how in those games like how good we could have been, and like just little mistakes like that, and we knew that we had the potential there, and we've just been riding off that and doing our jobs.
And in those 2 opening losses, it seemed as if the defense did struggle a little bit. What was it that really got you guys going in the following matchups?
You know, it was watching that film, and like you would see some of them plays, and it wasn't like we were just getting beat athletically. It was a lot of it was mental, and like just not doing our jobs, not doing our assignments. And once we got them things corrected, you know, you could really see like how special this unit can be, and how if everyone does their 1/11th, and how really special we can be.
And speaking of watching film, earlier heading into this matchup, Coach Brown did say that it was going to be key for you guys to really key in on watching film on Emporia State in order to get that win. How much do you think that played into getting the win on Saturday?
Yeah, Emporia does a lot of different things that are different formation-wise, and they do different plays out of certain formations. They have certain tendencies. They throw the ball a lot. They like to dink and dunk around the field, and you know, we had to watch a lot of film about that. Coming into the game, we were just prepared, and we had a good scheme going, and we really did our job, and the coaches put us in the right position to make plays.
Since those first 2 games, the defense has rose to the challenge when needed, including the overtime victory at Washburn, in which the secondary stepped up huge to help get that win. What was the turning point in the game that helped flip that switch?
You know, we had the lead early in that game, and they started to come back, and everyone just making plays down. We let up a touchdown late, and we had Sunshine go down. He was hurt, and we had Waiters step up, and the offense really took that momentum, went down and scored, and we knew we had to step up in overtime and make a play on defense, and I think we rose to the occasion on that one.
So now the team has won 4 in a row, and the defense has been dominating. Is there a newfound confidence within the defense right now?
Oh yeah, we got to definitely roll with this momentum each game, and we're going to have to face a lot of hard teams throughout the way the rest of the season, and just keep rolling.
The last 3 games, the defense has given up 3, 7, and 3 points. What has been key to the last 3 weeks dominating?
Like I said before, it's just everyone doing their job, doing their 1/11th. When guys need to make plays, they're stepping up, making plays. When we get put on one-on-one situations, and we are going to get put on one-on-one situations a lot. I mean, it's just guys winning those one-on-one situations, and that's really helping us succeed.
You've played a lot the last few years as a reserve behind some very talented players like Dorian Jabowu and Connor Shadid. What did you learn from those guys that you've put into your own game?
You know, watching them guys prepare for games, watching how they step into practice every day, watching how they step into the film room every day and prepared mentally, how they prepared the day before games, the day of games, how they went about just everything, just seeing how they carried themselves. And I mean, we like to push that into, now that we're seniors now, we like to push that into the younger kids now, and I feel like that's really helped with our success and built Fort Hays to where it's gotten to today.
Is there a different feeling knowing that, you know, those guys aren't around anymore?
I mean, it's a different feeling, but I mean, it's just the next guys step up and freshmen coming in, recruiting, and we just got to teach them like things. And I mean, yeah, really taking like what they've done and how they've built this program, and we just want to continue to do that.
You had a solid career at Hayes High. What pushed you to stay here at Hayes and attend FHSU? You
know, Coach Brown, he was coming up to me after some of the games. His son was a freshman when I was there, and he played a little bit as a freshman. And you know, Coach Brown just came and talked to me after games. I went on my official visit, and I mean, I love Hayes, so I mean, staying around here, playing football, not really anything better.
You redshirted your freshman year season during 2015. How tough was that year to watch from the sidelines?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to watch and sit out for a year, but for that redshirt year, you got to hit the weight room hard, learn the system, learn the playbook, you know, get a lot bigger. The game's a lot faster than high school. I mean, that's definitely probably one of the hardest parts to learn, transitioning from high school to college. You definitely got to put on the weight, get in your playbook, but just like the speed of the game itself is so much faster, and that's what's really what you need to get to catch up with.
Now you're a starter as a senior on a team that developed into a national power. Did you ever expect a day like this to come for you?
Yeah, well, you know, when you always expect it, you always want it, but knowing that we put in the work in this unit right here, and this team has put in the work to know this. We strive for this every day, and just to know that we're starting. The pieces are starting to come together, and we know that it's really like you want more of it, and like you want to keep working and keep getting better. And when we still got potential, we still got a lot of getting better to do, and it's exciting to see.
And you guys are in the same position as you were last season. You know, you have those losses on your record, and you potentially have to win out in order to even see that conference championship. Is it the same mindset going into this season as it was last year at this time?
Oh yeah, I mean, every game our coaches and I mean around the locker room, we stress one game at a time. Like, no game is more important than the other. We're going to face several hard teams in the MIAA, and every single week it's going to be a battle, and we just really stress one game at a time. No game's important except for the next one.
FHSU is currently tied for 4th in the MIAA standings, but 2 of the teams ahead of you are still left on your schedule, including Pitt State this weekend. How crucial is it for the team to go to Pittsburgh on Saturday and come out with a win against that team?
Yeah, Pitt's always a battle. That's always a 4-quarter battle, and I mean, we're prepared to come into 4-quarter battles every game. They do a lot of things a little bit different on offense, and we're going to have to do a little bit different on defense to combat that. But it's going to be a battle, and if we just come and play football and we get in the right position and do our jobs, I'm confident in my team.
There's still an outside chance for FHSU to win, or at least tie for another conference crown this year, and still get a chance to get into the D2 playoffs once again. Talk about what it will take to win out and to make a statement in the selection committee.
Yeah, like I said, just taking this one game at a time. I mean, week after week, we got to come to practice and with the mindset that we got to get better on this practice, and the next practice we got to get better, and that just builds up over time into what we can be. And as long as we take it 1 week at a time and keep working, I have no doubt that we can do it.
So, what would be a picture-perfect ending to your senior year?
Winning all my games, winning the last game.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much.
When we return from this break, we will break down the rest of This Week in Athletics.
He often climbs to the 3rd floor of Rarick without taking a second breath. No matter when he submits his assignment to Blackboard, it is considered early, even if it is 5 days late. The line at Starbucks parts when he arrives. He considers the homecoming bonfire a small flame for s'mores. Every time he walks downtown, it's considered a march to Maine. His doodles on scrap paper are framed and hung in Rarick Hall. Once he parked in a 30-minute zone overnight, and the campus police left him a thank you note and a gift card.
I don't always party, but when I do, I register with SGA. Now party responsibly, my friends.
Welcome back. Joining me now is FHSU SID Ryan Prickett, and he's going to help me break down the rest of this week in athletics. So volleyball went 0-2 during its week of play, losing to Nebraska Kearney on Tuesday and Missouri Western on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a tough week for volleyball. Nebraska Kearney we knew was going to be a tough match on the road. They're the number 3 team in the country. They still haven't lost a match yet. They're 17-0 on the year now, so they're always in the mix for that top 10 in the nation, and they're always really strong. They just traditionally have been a really great program up there under Rick Squires. So unfortunately, it wasn't our day on Tuesday. We didn't have any we didn't really threaten them in any of the sets. Now, on Saturday against Missouri Western, I kind of feel like that was a team that we could have had a better result against, and unfortunately, the ladies I don't know if they just didn't have it that day or what. We were competitive in the second set, and we actually had really a good chance to probably win that set and get that thing knotted up at 1-1 in the set's 1 count. But it was just one of those things where late in the match a couple things went their way. There was actually a call that got reversed, and we had to replay the point where we could have been sitting on match point. They took it back away, and so it's things like that unfortunately, hopefully that didn't break our team morale or anything like that. But there's things that just unfortunately didn't go our way in that match, and so it was a tough week for them, but hopefully they'll maybe get the ship righted this week.
Yes, they have Missouri Southern on Friday and then Pitt State on Saturday. Both matches are on the road. Yeah,
and that's going to be a big week for them. Just looking at the conference standings right now, Missouri Southern is actually right behind us in the conference standings, and Pittsburgh State's right in front of us. So we are currently sitting in 8th place in the conference standings, and 8 teams will go to the conference tournament at the end of the year. So right now, if the season ended today, we'd be in. But those are key games, and we're going to play them again on the flip side when they come here to the Coliseum, since we're playing everybody twice this year. So those are going to be some key matchups right there to determine maybe postseason play at the end of the year for the ladies. So big week for them on the road.
Men's golf finished 20th at the Holiday Inn Express Classic in St. Joseph.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a rough week for them. None of the scores were really as good as some of those guys have been playing all year. So, hopefully they'll get good results this week when they're playing over in Jefferson City, Missouri this week. We'll see what happens with the men's golfers. Unfortunately, I feel kind of like they took a little bit of a step back in that tournament. Finished at the bottom of the standings, unfortunately, in the team standings. And some of the guys, we just know that they can put up better scores than they did, and just hopefully that turns back around this week.
And then the women tied for 21st during their tournament, the Midwest Classic.
It's kind of the same scenario for them as well. Had been playing pretty well, especially Taylor DeBoer and Kyra Mestel. They had some good individual performances, but they had a little bit of a rough week themselves. Also, the team didn't perform that well either. So another one of those things where you finish towards the bottom of the standings, and that was the last meet of the fall for the women. So hopefully they'll work on things they know they need to work on in the off season and get ready for the spring season, because they did have some promising results there earlier in the fall and did play well at times. So hopefully they'll take the positive things they learned from those meets earlier in the season, and they'll carry that over to what they do in the springtime.
Women's basketball topped both MIAA preseason polls, and the men were picked 4th in both of those polls. Yeah,
it's exciting to get ready for basketball season. It's crazy that we're already talking about it. We're only in the middle of October, but I guess with the fall sports season shifting back a week this year, it's a little bit different, the calendar. So it's a little awkward that we're only halfway through football season, but we're already getting ready for basketball here in literally like a week when the men go over and play exhibition at the University of Kansas. But for the women to be picked number 1, I think obviously that some of that is hey, you went all the way to the regional finals last year. You won both the MIAA regular season and conference tournaments. So I think a lot of that is they know how many weapons we still have back on the floor this year, and I think that pick is kind of justified by what's returning to the floor this year for us, and knowing what we did last year. And then, on the men's side, Mark has always fielded a strong team. I know that there's going to be a lot of new faces on the squad this year. Only 4 guys return that were actually on the floor for us last year. We do have a couple of guys that redshirted as well, but it's going to be a lot of new faces on the floor, and we'll have to see how that chemistry works early in the season. But usually by the time MIAA play rolls around, Mark will get those guys gelling, and hopefully we'll be in a good position to finish in that top 4 in the conference standings, especially with the defending national champion is in our conference. Northwest Missouri ran the table last year and went 38-0, so they don't have everybody back, but they will be strong again, and they were picked number 1 in the conference for a reason based off of that too. So it'll be an exciting few weeks ahead as we get ready for basketball to get kick-started. So.
Yes, definitely. Men's soccer went 2-0 during its week of play, beating both Southern Nazarene and Oklahoma Baptist 3-1.
Yeah, those were results that those guys needed to get out there on the road, as I said before last week. That completes the first half of conference play. So now everybody that we played in conference at home will be on the road against this second half, and vice versa, as far as where we played on the road and who's going to come to Hayes in this next rotation. But big week for them to get that result. They are now, I believe, last I checked, they're up 2 games in the loss column on everybody, at least. I know that Rogers State and Northeastern State both have at least 2 losses in conference play. So we still have 0 in the loss column. We did have our 1 tie against Ouachita Baptist, but we're sitting in really good position right now to hopefully win that conference, outright there in the regular season standings. So.
And then the women shut out Missouri Western 3-0 and then finished with a draw against Northwest on Sunday.
Yeah, seeing how we did against Missouri Western, that was a really good result for us, to leave no doubt in that match. But Northwest Missouri was a team behind us in the standings in the conference. You almost felt like you wanted to go get that one too. And it was good that the ladies persevered through that match, because they got down early 1-0 in that match. Unfortunately, Northwest Missouri got a penalty kick because we took somebody down in the box on a situational play, and so they got up 1-0 on us early, and we're just kind of clinging to that for a long time. But Taryn Schnell happened to be in the right spot at the right time there in the second half with about 15 minutes to go in the match. Darby Hirsch rifled a shot off the crossbar that basically went right over to Taryn right in front of the goal, and she tapped it in. And so we got the tie at least. It would have been nice to get the win, but ties are better than losses in the conference standings. So we're still right there in that top 4 cluster in the conference standings. So depending on how our women play, they got a bunch of home matches coming up now that we've played a lot on the road. They got 5 conference home matches in a row here. So if we can defend our home field, we may have a chance to win that conference title in women's soccer as well.
Both men and women's cross-country teams finished 3rd at the FHSU Tiger Open over the weekend. Yeah,
that was a great showing for them as well, considering the competition that was at the meet. The women's side, we had Southwest Baptist and Colorado Mines, which they're both a couple of top 15 teams in the country. They're the 2 that duked it out for who was going to win as a team standing thing. But the women, they had a really good showing. Brooke Navarro was our front runner over there the other day. Abigail Stewart has kind of been our lead runner for a while, but Brooke's been right on her heels. So good to see Brooke break through and lead the team for a week. So that was a good result for the women to get 3rd behind those 2 nationally ranked teams. And then you can say the same for the men. They also were behind a couple of nationally ranked teams. Colorado School of Mines is the #1 team in the nation on the men's side, so they won the race like expected. But the University of St. Mary is actually one of the top 5 teams in the NAI right now too, and so they finished 2nd, and we weren't too far back in 3rd. And like I've said before, the men continue to use that principle of trying to pack together. If you look at the spreads of like how much time was between each finisher, Fort Hays was near the top of that list again as far as like runners packing together. So that was a good showing for our guys. Robbie Schmidt was our top runner. So I kind of feel like, you know, in all these races for the men, we're having somebody new each race lead the pack. So I think that's nice to know that at least those top 4 or 5 guys, it can be any guy on any given day. And so it's good to see how they've done so far, and got some big ones in front of us with conference and regionals coming up yet. So.
Well, thanks for breaking down the schedule, Ryan.
Yeah, no problem.
That concludes this episode. Tune in next week for another episode of This Week in Tiger Athletics. To stay up to date on the latest news and information throughout the week, visit tigermedianet.com.